Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our 2013 NFL Draft Prospect Rankings video. We're going to look at the wide receiver position right now. So let's take a look at some top prospects, some small school prospects, some sleepers that you want to keep an eye on. No one made a bigger impact in college football offensively than Cordarrelle Patterson outside of Johnny Manziel, but Cordarrelle Patterson from Tennessee did a great job this season. Big play ability, has that running back like agility with the football in his hands, and you see a guy that's 6'3", 206 pounds with the moves that he can make in the open field. I think this guy has special talent, which is why I think he has a top 10, top 15 grade. I compared him to Urban Fryer. Urban Fryer did a lot of good things like this at Nebraska out of the backfield as a receiver and also as a returner. Look for Patterson to be a star at the next level. Keenan Allen out of Cal is one of my favorite receiving prospects in this draft. Has excellent hands and also has that tremendous athleticism to contort his body to make those tough catches. Now, he's not as sudden as you would like. Reminds me a lot of Brandon Marshall, a guy that can take that short underneath pass and take it the distance. Also has the toughness after the catch. So when you get a guy like Keenan Allen, you can get a guy that can help you out on the return game as well, but also a fearless receiver going across the middle. Also has the big play ability to make plays downfield as far as high pointing the football. So Keenan Allen is definitely worth a top 20 pick in this year's draft. Justin Hunter reminds me a lot of A.J. Green for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, he's not as polished as A.J. Green, and he's coming off an injury from 2011. So look for this year to be his best year moving forward. Blazing speed, athletic, and sacrifices himself for the football. That's what you want out of a receiver, a guy that's not going to be afraid to go across the middle, go up and make the big play even if he's covered. That's why Justin Hunter still carries a first-round grade in my opinion. Keep an eye on DeAndre Hopkins out of Clemson, 6'1", 205, a junior. Very underrated route runner coming out of that spread offense. Definitely is a hands catcher and shows excellent burst off the line of scrimmage. Now, he does play a little stiff. I compare him to Sidney Rice, not as tall as Sidney Rice, but definitely has the same type of skill set. So he's going to fit in the team. He's going to be a solid number 2 option, in my opinion, at the next level. Definitely a first-round grade. More explosive playmakers in college football, you look at Tavon Austin out of West Virginia, 5'9", 195. Don't let the size fool you. He's short but not small, although he can get bounced around at times, but he has tremendous versatility. They used him in the backfield. They use him as a split. They also use him as a slot. He's also an outstanding returner. Elite athleticism and explosiveness. This guy would definitely be a tremendous playmaker. I know I use a lot of adjectives, but definitely will be a tremendous playmaker at the next level. Get the football in his hands, and he can make things happen. Derrick Rogers of Tennessee Tech transferred from the University of Tennessee, 6'3", 206 pounds, a junior. Definitely a tough and physical player. Great hands, in my opinion, and is a capable route runner. He reminds me a lot of Anquan Bolden, and the reason why, because of his positive attributes he does, and also because of his negative attributes. Doesn't have that burst or the separation, but definitely is a guy you want on your roster. Would be a solid number 2 option at the next level. I'm a big fan of Kobe Hamilton out of Arkansas. This guy is a good route runner, has the acceleration you want at the position and the knack for the big play. Now, his concentration wanes at times, and that causes him to drop easy passes, which is why I compare him to Terrell Owens. When you look at his physical skills and what he brings to the table, no one is better at what he does than Kobe Hamilton. So I look for this guy to be a solid pro, productive pro. If he can get over those concentration issues, he can definitely be a star. There's a lot to like about Stedman Bailey out of West Virginia. You look at a guy that has good, solid, all-around game, understands body control, which allows him to catch everything thrown his way. His route running needs a little bit of work coming out that system out of West Virginia, and he's not the fastest, although I compare him to Steve Smith. I think this guy has big play ability, and one thing that's very underrated about his skill set is his ability to play X or Z, which is the split or the flanker position. Definitely has that versatility and will be a solid pro at the next level. Robert Woods out of USC graded out as a second-round prospect, in my opinion. He does a lot of things great after the catch, like his run after the catch ability, his return ability, and his game-breaking speed, but it's before the catch that I have a question with. Can he get off bump press? Can he effectively do that at the next level? And he has to improve on his route running. If he can do that, this is a guy that you can definitely find ways to use in your offense, but not the elite first-round talent that some are making him out to be. Terrence Williams out of Baylor, 6'2", 205, a senior prospect, very athletic, has top-end acceleration, very good hands. His route running experience needs a little work coming out of that Baylor offense, and he tends to be gun-shy across the middle of the field. So that's going to have to be changed at the next level, but reminds me a lot of Keenan McCardell in his athleticism and his ability to contort his body and get both feet in bounds. I like Quentin Patton out of Louisiana Tech, 6'2", 195, a classic number 2 type of receiver at the next level. Doesn't have the blazing speed, but doesn't shy away from contact across the middle of the field and is not afraid to sacrifice his body for a catch. Marcus Wheaton out of Oregon State, 6'2", 182, a guy that's a very good receiver in my opinion, but he tends to body catch and bobble catch a little bit too much for my liking, which is why I gave him a 3rd round grade. But they went to him on 3rd downs, and he definitely produced each and every time. I've said before, give me Ryan Swope on my football team any day of the week. This guy is going to be a solid pro, 6 feet, 205, but plays bigger than his size. And you have to wonder how much of his progression was curtailed by Johnny Manziel scrambling. Keep an eye on one of my sleeper picks in this draft. I like the brashness of Aaron Dobson out of Marshall, 6'2", 205. Once he gets the football in his hands, it's lights out. You won't be able to catch him. The problem is he tends to be a little bit inconsistent with his hands, so that's something that he's going to have to work on at the next level if he wants to stick around for a long time. Javon Lawson out of Louisiana is a technician with his route running. This guy is always open due to the fact that he can run excellent routes, and that's going to be huge at the next level. He's probably going to start out as a returner, and he can help you out that way, but definitely has the hands to be a solid number 2 or 3 option in the league. Not a lot of people are high on Sam McGuffey as I am, but I think this guy has that versatility that can help offenses be productive. He played running back at Rice, also at Michigan. He played receiver his last year at Rice, in which he was the leading receiver on a team. Has blazing speed, 4.4 type of speed. So get him in the 4th round. I think this is a guy that can definitely help out a football team in any way possible. At one point in his career, Kenny Stills looked like a potential 1st round pick, but he graded out, in my opinion, as a 4th round grade because of the fact that he has those battles of inconsistency. He's going to have to work on his route running as well. Doesn't really separate like you want him to, but there's a lot of raw skill set to like about this young man coming out of Oklahoma. And Denard Robertson, some people like him as a running back. Being a former running back, I don't think that's a good fit for him because he can't create behind the line of scrimmage. All of his big plays come post line of scrimmage, so why not put him as a receiver? Because if you're going to use him as a runner anyway, it's going to be just like that as some type of wildcat quarterback. There's a lot to like about Connor Vernon. When you look up solid in the dictionary, you're going to see a picture of this young man in that Duke uniform. One thing he does exceptionally well, route running. That gets him open, explosive after the catch. He may end up being one of these guys that when you look at later on in the season is how this guy ended up falling this far in the draft. And one small school guy cracks my top 20, and that's Aaron Millette out of Elon. He's been on the radar of NFL prospects and scouts for the last couple of years. This guy's a solid, smooth route runner, catches everything with his hands, and definitely has the size that you want to be on the interior at the next level. Keep an eye on Mark Harrison out of Rutgers. You look at a guy that's 6'3", 234 pounds, was plagued by spotty quarterback play throughout the course of his career, has everything you want, even the look of an NFL wide receiver. One thing that's going to be certain, once he gets into a camp, once he gets drafted, this guy will definitely produce and end up being a solid contributor. The one thing you can't coach in football is speed. Either you have it or you don't, and Marquise Goodwin definitely has that. He's an Olympian as far as speed is concerned. When you look at a guy and what he can bring to a football team, return ability. You find ways to get him the football on end arounds, those quick bubble screens, allow him to utilize that speed to take the distance. He's going to be an underrated pro, in my opinion. An intriguing prospect in this draft is Marquise Gray out of Minnesota, 6'4", 240 pounds, started his career as a receiver after being a highly recruited quarterback, then moved to quarterback and was very productive, then moved back to wide receiver. So you get a guy that can play in some quote-unquote wildcat packages, but also has the ability to go down the field and turn a short pass into a long gain. Look for him to be a goal line option for some teams at the next level. We've already talked about Mark Harrison being plagued by spotty quarterback play. You can make the same case for Marcus Davis of Virginia Tech, played by spotty quarterback play, but this guy has to work on his consistency. He has to be more consistent in catching the football, running routes, because before you can use your blazing speed, you have to catch that football. Kaufman out of Eastern Washington reminds me a lot of Jordy Nelson that plays for the Green Bay Packers, and not because he's white, it's because this guy doesn't really have that separation as a receiver, but definitely makes the tough catch. And when you combine that with the fact that he has that frame, this guy's an intriguing prospect, which is why I graded him out as a 4th round prospect. Definitely is going to make an NFL roster. Quiet as kept, Division III Mount Union has become a factory for producing quality wide receivers. And when you look at Jasper Collins, you see a guy that just fits that mold to a T. 5'11", 190 pounds, excellent route runner. That's why he always is open, has the great hands you want, and also you see right there has the ability to make plays as a returner. I graded him out as a 4th round prospect. Luke Tasker, the son of Steve Tasker that played with the Buffalo Bills, is an outstanding receiver. You talk about technician, you look at this guy, big playability, definitely is like his dad. Will start off as a special teamer, but also has solid receiving skills. Ryan Spadola out of Lehigh was definitely their big playmaker. This guy is fearless, going across the middle, excellent hands, and was highly productive each and every year for the Mountaineers. Keep an eye on him as a late round prospect. 5th round grade is what I give him. And Tyrone Gord out of Eastern Kentucky made a lot of big plays for the Colonels. You see right here, big play threat right there going down the field. What he has to work on is his ability to get in and out of his breaks faster at the next level if he wants to stick around. Cordell Robinson out of Stephen F. Austin is an intriguing prospect. You look at a guy that's 6'2", 215 pounds, but you look at his wingspan. He has the wingspan of a guy that's 7'3", long arms, which makes him a threat near the goal line. You see right there, violent, getting off the line of scrimmage. I like this guy a lot. 6th round prospect, in my opinion, has to work on everything else about his game. And Xavier Boyce out of Norfolk State, 6'3", 220 pounds, more of a solid number 3 type of option, a guy that you can run underneath, a guy that has some goal line type of ability, has to be more consistent in catching the football, again, if he wants to stick on an NFL roster. Football Game Plan has you covered throughout the entire draft season, so tune in every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Football Game Plan's Draft Prospect Analysis Show hosted by our senior draft analyst, Chris James. You can follow him on Twitter at CJFlorida9, so don't be afraid to tune in. Remember, that's every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.